The world has three types of people: the visionaries, the builders, and the entrepreneurs who combine both and are by far the most successful, but most of them also fail. So if you consider yourself an entrepreneur, I'm going to try and show you the way to build your vision to life. I've already built 2 apps and they were quite successful, so I'm going to show you what I learned about the process. But before we start, let me tell you one thing. Be prepared to fail, but fail successfully. Alright, imagine this. Here is Bob. Bob is a programmer and he's got a $1 million idea. He came up with 3 features that he absolutely needed to implement, and he was so excited about it, he got right away to building it. Then he had a conversation with a friend and he told him that maybe he should add 2 more features, and Bob of course implemented them, and after some time Bob got much more feedback from his friends and they all told him to implement more and more and more, and before he notices, a year passed and he finally decides to launch it, but sadly nobody wants to sign up for this application and it's a fail and Bob wasted a year of his life. On the other side, we've got the Giga Chad Rob, who also had an amazing idea. But before he started, he did some amazing research. So first, he scouted the web for possible solutions, he listed them and downloaded every single app and played with them and see what he liked about them and what he didn't like about them. Then he tried to look for content about that kind of problems that those apps were trying to solve, and he estimated how big of a problem it is, how many people have that problem. He saw that there is an opportunity there, so he coded a very simple website and he put out the main feature of his app there, what that app would be trying to solve, and then he listed it out, posted about it on social media, and he realized that nobody cared about it, so he scratched that off and went with life. So most startup founders and indie makers probably started off as Bobs, and only later on did they realize that there is a better way. So the idea might seem to be great, but it's very much possible that you're not getting the full picture, and as there is an old saying, the client is always right, so stick to that and ship features that your clients will want. So now I hope that you don't want to lose time on chasing ideas that nobody will want. So how do you check the market? Well, luckily there are a few websites that are very helpful with that. So the most popular one by far is Product Hunt, and if you don't know what it is, it's a daily and weekly leaderboard for software. So the best strategy here is to simply go to that leaderboard and see what are the top performing products. So click on that product, visit their website, see how many followers they get on social media, if they get any good testimonials, and if they do, that is a sign that it's a good idea that you should probably note and focus on. You can also go to Google Trends and search for the keywords related to the startup, and if there are lots of visits or lots of searches to that kind of keyword, that is another sign that you should focus on it. And if you decide to build that idea, you can copy a bit and simply put your own twist on that kind of idea to make it uniquely yours and original, but still solving that problem. But last thing during the research I think is worth mentioning is money. Money is always the most important thing. So I think you should make rough calculations if your idea is going to be profitable. So you can either get lots of signups to a low ticket product or a few signups to a high ticket product. And I think the low ticket one is much easier to build, but it's much harder to market because you have to reach lots of people. But the high ticket one is much harder to build because you have to give more value with your software, but it's much easier to market because you only have to reach a small amount of people to become profitable. A helpful metric for the calculations is the conversion rate. So a good conversion rate would be between 1 to 3%. So for every 1,000 users, you will get around 10 to 30 signups. And that might already be enough if your price is really high, but because most of you probably are going to build a micro SaaS because that's the latest trend, so we'll be focusing on the low ticket but higher user base, and you will need much more. So if you're confident that what you found earlier is going to succeed, simply buy a domain and put a waitlist button on that and list out the feature that is going to be the main thing of your app and see how many people sign up. If the number is great and you do some marketing and you don't just put one post but really try to reach as many people as possible and see that there is traction, then you can start building. Your objective should be to create an MVP or a minimum viable product. And I know you've got a ton of features in your head, as we all developers do, but you should really focus on one. Think, what is the core of your product? If you could only solve one problem, what would it be? Build that. You will be adding more features later, and I will show you how you can add only those features that your client will want. That's through feedback, and it ensures that you have much higher client satisfaction, because not only do you add the features they want, you can also ask them how they want those features to be implemented, so it all works how they want it to work. You should also remember that people might not buy, even though they appear to be interested. You can simply screw something up with the marketing or the authentication process that makes them less likely to buy, or with the styling, whatever it is. Remember that if you only build the MVP, you don't waste much more time on other features, so even if it fails, it's not that huge of a deal. So for the first step, I want to take you on a bit of a story. The first app I made was for a real-life event, and just 10 minutes before it started, I wanted to test out one feature, and we made it so that you could add money to your virtual account and then pay with your phone, so that we would not lose it, all the cash that we collected, because it would be in one place. And I put 10 bucks in, and 20 bucks appeared on my account, and I almost shat my pants. I got right away to fixing it, and I think it was the quickest fix I've ever done. I got it done 2 minutes before the event started, and then just after that the people started coming in and putting the money in their accounts, so I saved myself from a huge disaster. So the popular saying that real men test in production is not, I think, the most optimal way to go about it, because you can lose a lot of reputation if you make a huge fail. There are stories of developers that woke up with a $1,000 bill or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of bills that they had to pay to Google or Vercel or another company because they didn't test their app and they got hacked. But most of us forget how easy it is to test our software, especially with all the AI that we have. GitHub Copilot and Cursor, they can easily blitz through your codebase and then write the test for you if you just prompt them to do so. And they're quite good, and the frameworks are really easy to use, such as Vitest. So I think putting a few more extra hours into making sure that your app is safe, it can save you from a bad reputation. So it's a good idea to do it. Alright, so now it all comes down to the big day, the launch. So we're not some big ass corp that we've got journalists knocking at our doors, waiting for us to make a keynote with all the features that we shipped. No, we've got to find other ways to break through. And honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, luck plays a big role here. The apps I launched were aimed at a close group of people, so I didn't have to market that hard, but I've been selling digital products for the past year, and I know how hard it is to get traction and break through. So we need to try to think outside the box. And the best way to do that is to somehow trigger an emotion that will stay in your client's life, and they will be more likely to think about you, and it will keep them interested. So the next time they see your product, they might be more likely to buy it. So when we first launched the closed app, we put QR codes everywhere in our school, and people were so intrigued by it, they started talking, and the word spread around, and they all bought the tickets. But if you only want to market online, your best chance is to simply follow all the latest trends and appear everywhere, on every platform, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Just put yourself out there and try to build a community, because communities are the most powerful. If people follow you, they will go to your websites and bring some traction, and that way the algorithms will know that this is some kind of a good product and they will push it higher, you will get more upvotes on Product Hunt, and you will be noticed. So, build a community. So now you're wondering what the fifth step is going to be. If you think that life is going to be nice and easy after launch, that you are going to be laying down in your sunbed, sipping a cocktail while watching the money pour in into your bank account, you're probably very much in the wrong. If your app is any kind of a success, you are going to receive tons of feedback. And what appears to be carefully designed and logical to you will be absolutely demolished by your users. Some of them are going to be simply stupid and they will have no idea how to use a computer or a phone in a way that you do, and the others will be absolutely big brain and they will try to break your app in every way possible. You know, some kid from our school bought some kind of a DDoS attack on us, and it lasted like 24 hours, and he managed to hack a small part of the app, and we had a fun night doing the fixes with my friend. Others couldn't go through the login process even though we went through it 1,000 times and it seems so obvious to us. And the others wanted some different features and some didn't like the colors, and you know, it's going to be hard. Fortunately, somebody had a great idea to create a customer feature board. So tools like Canny or Trello with the voting power-up will enable you to put a public board and give a link to your community of users, and they will simply be able to add new features and request them to you, and they will vote for those features so that you can focus on those features first. To make this work, to turn your ideas into startups and businesses that are profitable, it will take you multiple iterations, but you will learn a lot along the way. But everything I've told you is useless if you don't know how to make that kind of a startup. So watch these videos right here to learn how you can build your own boilerplate so that you can start building your apps.